Brew Strong is brought to you by Blickman Engineering, home of the top-tier brewing stand. Visit them online at blickmanengineering.com.
Brewers, it's time for the beer radio you've been looking for. This is the show that dispels myths, tackles the toughest topics, and makes no apologies for geeking out on beer. Hosted by two guys that drink before they think, Jamil Zainasheff and John Palmer. This is Brew Strong.
Hey, howdy, hey, my brewing brothers and sisters.
Bienvenidos, muchachos.
Whoa.
And we got the Tasticles.
I am here. I'm in attendance. Here to
drink beer.
Explain your answers to the question.
What's wrong?
What the hell are they talking about?
Yeah, what the hell is that?
They're making that shit up.
Well, that's
I've actually heard that done on these airwaves, but wasn't either one of you guys.
I think there are times when we give our best answer.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
And that best answer could possibly be pulled from another region. Well, sometimes, in our defense, sometimes we get questions sent in to Brew Strong at thebrewingnetwork.com. Mm-hmm. You send in your questions there. Sometimes we get questions in that are just so out there, they're very difficult to answer. Yeah. But we try.
Wow.
The thing is, we try. We don't say, well, we don't know. Ask somebody else. We're like, all right, well, we'll give it our best shot, and we'll give you as much information as we possibly can. I think we do a pretty good job of it. But,
I do too.
I think we also say, well, we don't really know, but here's what we would suppose is the answer.
Yeah, you give it the Chris White answer, like,
right.
Well, it depends, Well, we're speculating here.
We tend to avoid the it depends. I mean, well, we'll use the it depends, but we go ahead and firmly come down with our guidance is to come down with a recommendation or something that you can act on versus just leaving you wondering.
Give this a try and that a try. And if you get that or that, then I guess,
exactly.
Move it forward a little bit. At least.
That's the goal.
I like that. That's good.
Right? We have a strict requirement on the show for trying to help. Trying to make things better. Yeah, I'll tell you who else is trying to make things better. Our good sponsor, John Blickman. He's trying to make homebrewing better.
Succeeding.
And he has, yeah. I mean, if you think about how he's advanced the technology of homebrewing equipment, you look at like the beer gun, you look at
my hop rocket.
His latest
I love the hop rocket Terminator.
Yeah, the Terminator, and what was it at the show you were saying?
He just introduced the Brew Vision at the latest homebrew conference.
Right,
the Bluetooth temperature sensors.
Right. Very cool.
Yeah.
So the guy's always trying to make homebrewing easier, better controlled, better, easier to do. A lot more fun, a lot more cool.
Yeah,
and
more sizzles.
Succeeding, absolutely succeeding.
Sure.
So check them out, blickmanengineering.com. They're paying for the show, so you don't have to. So the least you can do is go to the website, check out all the cool gear, and then someday, who knows, maybe you're in the market for something, you'll consider picking up some Blickman gear. But we'd appreciate if you check them out. Send at feedback@blickmanengineering.com. You can send them an email and tell them how much you love that they sponsor the show. Or that they're insane for sponsoring the show. Either way, at least they know you're out there and alive. So check them out, blickmanengineering.com. All right, we're doing a live Q&A show today. Live meaning you could actually get on the website, you can jump in the chat, you can listen live, and
you can even call us.
And you could call us if Bevo's not asleep. You could ask questions in the chat or call 888-401-BEER. It never seems to work, but you could give it a try. 888-401-BEER. All right. First question, Porno Steve.
All right. This one's about stainless steel. I'm looking to build a Frankenbrew system, brew house only, of around 5 to 7 barrels from used stainless steel vessels purchased from surplus yards. The previous use of these vessels may be unknown. My question is, how would you clean and qualify these vessels to be used in a commercial brewery? Are there signs to look for that would make them unusable in the brewing industry? Thanks for all your help and info in the past.
Well,
interesting question.
Yeah. It would be best if these stainless steel vessels came from the food industry.
Mm-hmm.
So that would, ensure that they were, either austenitic stainless steels of, say, 200 or 300 series, proven for use as brewing equipment. That being said, if you can look at it and see that it's not rusting, see that it is stainless, chances are it is a food grade alloy.
Even sometimes you get a little rust on something, even on like 304. It comes off. You treat it with acid, and comes
get a
right
real
off.
light dusting or rust.
Right. What I was going to ask you is there any sort of chance for some sort of non-food grade chemical or product to embed itself somehow in the stainless or attach itself somehow to the stainless, that it would come off into the beer?
No.
I wouldn't think so.
Not unless it were a visible tactile coating, on it. I mean,
right. So if you clean this thing with either elbow grease and some PBW or some hot caustic, if you do a hot caustic treatment in it and then rinse it and then a hot acid treatment, it's going to be good and ready to go for brewing, I would think.
Yes. Yeah.
And if it seems like it's stainless, I think that's good enough.
That's pretty much it. I think the different grades of stainless, it would matter more to you as the producer or owner of the stainless, where it may change the cleaning regimen that you have to do with it. Some are more high maintenance than others. But as far as quality of the product, of the beer that comes from it, I don't think it's going to have any real effect.
Well, yeah, and if you're getting it for essentially for free or really dirt cheap, I would think, why not?
Yeah.
I wouldn't invest a lot in it, but there you go. All right. Now, I threw that one in for you, John.
Appreciate it.
Question about stainless. I know that gets you going.
It does. I'm wide awake now.
All right. Well, let's do this. Let's take a short break. When we come back, John will have a beer. He'll be more sleepy, and we'll answer the rest of your questions right after this.
The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
Do you like beer? They make beer.
Watch out!
Do you like friends and fun? They make friends and fun.
Watch out!
Do you still like to have a good time? The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
The 21st Amendment in San Francisco, located at 563 2nd Street, 2 blocks from the building where baseball is seen and played. Try their beers in the pub or try them in the can, featuring
Monk's Blood.
Made with real monk.
Watch out!
So why not have the best time of your life? Go to the 21A and Sean O'Sullivan will personally greet you with a can of
Monk's Blood. The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
This advertisement is not in any way affiliated nor associated with the 21st Amendment Bar and Pub, nor its subsidiaries or affiliates. This telecast is not copywritten by the 21st Amendment for the private use of the Brewing Network. Any use of this telecast without Jamil Zainashev's consent is prohibited. Suck it, JP.
Your support of the Brewing Network means everything to us. We couldn't produce shows without you. And we love giving you something extra for that support, like
Brew Your Own magazine. You already know it's a great brewing magazine full of recipes, equipment how-tos, discussions of beer styles, and brewing techniques. Whether you're new to brewing and just starting out or you're an old pro, you'll always learn something from the articles in Brew Your Own. Plus, there are amazing special issues like plans for building a Brutus 10 system, 250 classic clone recipes, and the Homebrewer's Answer Book. Brew Your Own magazine and BYO.com are awesome resources for any brewer, whether for yourself or as a gift. When you subscribe or resubscribe from the Brewing Network homepage, you directly support programs like this. Get a great magazine and support the Brewing Network. Subscribe to Brew Your Own right from thebrewingnetwork.com.
Say hello to my little friend.
You've heard about White Labs Pure Pitch yeast. Pure Pitch is yeast grown right in its final packaging. That means yeast that has never been exposed to the environment. And White Labs Pure Pitch yeast for homebrewers is now available to everyone at homebrew retailers nationwide. Easy to use, perfectly sized, and ready to pitch. White Labs yeast, packaged using their Flex Cell process, ensures the purest yeast on the market. Visit whitelabs.com to learn more about Pure Pitch, Flex Cell technology, and how it's created. Then visit a homebrew retailer near you for your own perfectly sized package of Pure Pitch yeast. And you can say hello to your own little friend. www.whitelabs.com.
Back to the beer guys that make other beer guys look like wine guys. Brew Strong.
All right, we're back. We were discussing Mitch's new endeavor.
Yeah, his new business partnership that he's forming.
New thing.
Yeah.
What's he doing?
What's he doing?
Mm-hmm.
He's leaving Stone.
Mm.
The 30th is his last day. I'm flying down there this week. We're doing our Heretic collab, and then and he's done.
Oh,
and then
how long has he been there for?
10 years.
Long time.
That's a good amount of time. He gave it He moved things along.
Oh,
industry moved along a lot in that amount of time.
He tremendously improved the beers at Stone.
Yeah, because he knew good beer. He knows good recipe and stuff.
Yeah,
he brought all that with him.
Yep.
So now he's going to be opening a brewery of his own?
Yeah, with some partners that are kind of more towards the restaurant side, it sounded like.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Be fun. New adventure.
He could have come to Heretic. I'm just saying. That's fine. That's fine.
He passed.
Passed on that, I guess. Yeah, that's right. I'm not bitter about it. I'm okay.
You're not bitter at all. He's still got his name on one of the fermenters. He's on one of the big fermenters.
Yeah, I love Mitch.
He's a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
Great guy.
Nicer than Jesus, I say.
I think so.
There you go.
You know who else is nicer than Jesus?
Our good friend John Blickman.
Oh no, not that guy.
Oh,
E. Rector.
Oh, yeah.
Ernie
Rector.
Yeah. No, the guys from Lamont. Those I love those. That's like good Midwest normal dudes.
They are indeed.
I love those guys.
Even though they're East Coast Baltimore kind of area.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
No, they're good folks. They're
They
just
are.
like normal folks and very clever as well, and very. They've got their products that they've been doing for forever, right? They do like swimming pool tests and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
But they, I don't know how did they get into the brewing game here?
Yeah, they had been a water testing company for the last 20, 30 years. And then Ernie Rector comes along, and he's a home brewer, and he says, some of these products would be good brewing products.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so that's how the Brew Lab came to be. And then he contacted me, and we started collaborating on it a bit, and I helped him tweak it, and that's how the Brew Lab and Brew Lab Plus came to be.
Right. So those are the homebrew versions, and if you're looking to get yourself a homebrew water test kit, I highly recommend those. I've seen them. I've played around with them. We gave a few away at the AHA rally that we had at Heretic. Lamont provided those for them. And then also, I've got the Pro version. They've got a real nice one for small craft brewers. And it costs like $1,000. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, if you have a brewery and you're brewing beer, that's the one to get. And if you're a pro brewer and you don't have a way of testing your water, or you're sending it out on a regular basis, it's going to cost you that $1,000. We've been using this kit for a year, and we haven't run out of reagents yet. And
still going strong.
Yeah, and we get the results instantly. So we're checking our water every week, especially with the drought in California. Things are changing. I find it extremely valuable. I find it precise. I find it easy to use. I find it very quick to get results, and I highly recommend it. Full disclosure, they gave us that kit, but I would buy that kit if I did not have one, because I find it that valuable, and I find it that good a quality. So I'm real happy with it. All right, next question.
All right. John and Jamil, would it be a terrible idea to ferment while stirring and heating on a heated stir plate? I have a flat-bottomed glass 6.5-gallon carboy, and I thought I could incorporate it into my temp control. I imagine I would turn off the stir option after 8 or 9 days to allow for flocculation. Could you elaborate on the disadvantages?
Yeah, people bring this up all the time because, you stir your starters and you get... The thing about starter is you're really focused on yeast growth, not flavor development. And there's a lot of very subtle things about flavor development that depend on, the yeast not really being that mixed up throughout the liquid, and also not exchanging.
And rushing the growth rate as well.
Right. There's just so many little things that I think it's a bad idea. People bring it up all the time. I'm sure you get much higher attenuation, but I don't think the flavor would be there.
So maybe a little bit of both? Try to get a good middle ground? No?
No, because you don't. For one thing, you don't want to have as much oxygen, into the yeast after the first 12, 24 hours either. So, depending on your headspace and airlock and all that, agitation with the stir probably wouldn't be a good idea.
Yep.
So why would he want to? What's he trying to do to get a quicker ferment? Which, of course, a heated ferment on a stir plate will get you probably to terminal in like 2 days.
He didn't really elaborate on what exactly he was going for. He just said, would it be a terrible idea to do that?
So he's trying to do a faster ferment. How would we go about that?
Sure.
Maybe in combination, maybe like Taylor's saying, maybe he could do that for just a short period of time, like for the first 12 hours he could stir it.
Like maybe he is having a problem with attenuation or something, and that's...
one of the things that happens during fermentation is the liquid becomes super saturated with CO2. And it's that presence of that CO2 that actually restricts the yeast from... certain things.
They do different things in that mode versus when there's oxygen.
It keeps them from producing as much esters, I believe, or ester-producing compounds, or ester potential compounds. And when you get rid of all the CO2, like you would when you stir it, if you ever tasted a starter wort once it's gone through, it's very estery and it's got a lot of compounds in it that just don't taste right. So I think that's part of the problem.
I see.
As is mixing the liquid very thoroughly. One of the things that, like if you look at the Yorkshire Square, has these dead corners essentially. There's not a when you ferment in a carboy. It tends to kind of stir. Same thing in a conical. It tends to have these convection currents that happen, and there are areas where it's not stirring as much, and that's going to give you a little more residual, and maybe you're picking up a few more of these flavor compounds. And, you don't want it to be perfect. You want some of that in there to give the beer character and, kind of some depth of flavor.
Let the vessel shape help drive the beer flavor.
Exactly. I mean, it's one of the reasons you might use a square fermenter is you want to get a little bit more diacetyl in the beer. You want to get
these dead spots.
Right. So that's why I think, the idea of, stirring it is not the way to go.
Yeah. On the flip side, he's welcome to try it and tell us what he thinks.
Right.
But I really do think it's a case of, something's really not broken here. And we don't need to go there.
There you go. All right. Next question.
All right, this one. Hey, guys, I'm doing a blueberry stout and have a quick question. I want to add the fruit right to the primary after fermentation about 1.5 weeks. Some people are saying, no, I should use a secondary, in which I never use anymore. So I guess the question I have is, should I do this in primary or secondary? And if secondary, what is the reason for not using primary? Thank you in advance. Hope to see you in Baltimore. Chugley. Did you see him in Baltimore?
Might have.
I did not.
Sure.
I don't recall seeing Chugley. But then I wasn't in Baltimore, so there you go.
That would make it more difficult.
Did you see Chugley in Baltimore?
I saw a lot of people, but I didn't know all their names. So.
A lot of people.
I probably saw Chugley.
It could have been named Chugley.
Yes,
Lots of people.
Right.
May have.
Right.
Seems vaguely familiar, but of course, everybody seems vaguely familiar nowadays.
I'm getting that. Yeah.
Everybody seems very vague to me. Yes.
Once you've seen all the possible
Not
faces.
familiar, but vague. Yes.
So fruit, adding the fruit directly to the primary fermenter instead of racking onto the fruit per se. I don't think that's a big deal. Assuming his his primary fermentation is healthy, healthy yeast. I don't see that as a problem. You don't need to rack unless you've got stuff in the fermenter that you don't want to be around, for an extended fermentation or extended aging. So
yeah, I think if you get your fermentation was very, nice and healthy, everything progressed smoothly. He was talking 1.5 weeks, which seems kind of long.
Yeah.
If your fermentation is pretty much done in 5 days, and maybe you give it a day or two, and then you add the fruit, and then I see no problem with that. But the reason people rack off of one to the other, they used to do it just because that was the way it was done, which was really kind of bizarre. But if you have a large pile of yeast at the bottom, and then you're looking at a long time sitting with the fruit or with oak or with dry hops or something like that, and you're looking at another several weeks, then go ahead and rack over to something else. But I think at the end of a good ale fermentation or lager fermentation, and it's the yeasts that are in there, they're healthy, and and that the yeast that you pitched initially didn't have a bunch of dead yeast in it, then I'd say I'd agree with John.
Yeah.
Go for it. What do you say, Tasty?
I agree 100%. Yeah, I don't see any reason. Unless there's something you want to get rid of, like get it. I go ahead and put it in the primary.
Sure. Yeah. So there you go. You were right, at least according to the three of us. All right. Let's see. One more.
Yep.
And we'll take another break.
All right. Hey guys, I picked up a Lambat Brew Lab recently, and I'm just getting started in adjusting my brewing water. I've looked at the Brewer's Friend online water chemistry calculator as well as John's downloadable Excel calculator, and I'm wondering if there's reason salt additions need to be manually entered rather than automatically calculated to optimal levels based on the comparison of source minerals to the chosen target profile.
That's the key right there.
I'm a software developer, and I'm considering building my own water calculator as a coding exercise while learning more about water adjustments at the same time. Before jumping into automatic salt calculation, I wanted to check with the expert to make sure I'm not missing some fundamental reason why this is a bad idea.
there is no optimum. There's no secret ingredient, as Poe would say.
You're saying there's no equation to program.
Well, no, there's equations, but
the problem is in matching those water profiles.
Yeah,
that's not necessarily the best thing to do.
Right.
There's lots of ways to get from A to B.
True.
And I see.
And depending on the style you intend to brew, whatever. I mean, you have this list of classic brewing cities that everybody looks to, and they say, so I'm going to brew a stout, and I need this water. Well, A, those water profiles aren't necessarily what the brewers were brewing with, and B, the brewers are probably adjusting their water besides that. But really, those profiles are a suggestion to you as a brewer, as an artist, in developing your beer. Water adjustment is a real thing, but there's no single correct answer on what the water profile should be for a particular style. And so if you look in the water book, you're going to see a range of ion concentrations for various styles. And again, those are suggestions. You can be within those guidelines, or you can be outside of the guidelines. Mm-hmm. It's going to depend on your tastes and so on.
So those are just approximations. So say you just decide, okay, fine, I want my water to be this many sulfates, this many chlorides, this many sodiums and all this. And then you have also, what your water is, because you've done the water test.
Oh, then it's very easy to calculate.
Then he can program his thing to go ahead and calculate how much of everything to add.
Yeah.
Fine.
I would just avoid going like, well, give me this classic city water thing. I think that's a mistake.
No,
I think something that John was trying to do earlier on was equate water to color and hoppiness and things like that. I think if this listener was making a calculator, what I would do is say, okay, so what's the color of the beer, the SRM of this beer going to be? And you really need to know whether that SRM is coming from highly kiln malts or lots of lower color malts. I mean, that makes a difference. You'd want to go, do you want this beer to really be, sharply hoppy or more, a gentle hoppy bitterness? What do you want to accentuate? I would have it, ask these kinds of questions. Is there a lot of, highly kiln malts in there? Mm-hmm. Or is your color coming from more crystal malts? Is this a pale beer? Is this, a dark beer? Is this a hoppy beer? Is this a malty beer? Is this a beer that you want,
what do you want to emphasize?
What do you want to emphasize? Do you want to emphasize the crispness of this or the softness of this?
So with a questionnaire...
I think, with a questionnaire or sliders or something like that, and then you input your water, then I think it could come up with, a suggestion that would be a good starting point. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the Mr. Malty calculator. It gives you, a good idea of where you should start.
Right. Then you make the beer,
right?
And then you taste and readjust,
right? And then you could go back to this calculator and say, nah, it's a little too sharp, or it's not sharp enough, or not crisp enough. I'm going to move that crisp slider, and I'm going to see what it tells me then. And then you'd look at your adjustments, and go, oh, okay, now I understand. This is why I'm adding, a little more gypsum or whatever it would be, or this is why I'm driving the pH down with some acid, and I think it's important to take into account, some acid adjustment as well. It's an excellent tool for dealing with water, and I think a lot of times people leave that out and try and do just mineral.
Right. So another question for John. Was could you recommend a source for the formulas used in your calculator to measure the effects of salt additions on source water?
Well, they're all listed in the water book.
Okay.
They're very simple, molecular weight calculations.
Like I've said in the past, I think you can buy the book.
Yeah.
Read the book.
Excellent answer. It's in the book.
There you go. All right. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll have more of your questions right after this.
Hey there, BN Army. Have you heard the latest at HopTech? Since HopTech has doubled in size after a huge expansion, Jade and Roberto can stock even more of the best quality homebrewing supplies and equipment. Over 60 kick-ass varieties of hops and malts, monster truckloads of quality brewer's yeast, including White Labs, Y-yeast, and multiple dry yeasts. They even have all grain systems from Grainfathers and Ruby Street Brew Systems, thanks to Jade, the brand new all-grain brewer. And don't forget about their 10% discount to all BN Army members. Jade and Roberto are waiting for you and all of your brewing questions over at hoptech.com. HopTech, totally not sucking since 1983.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters. This is Jamel Zainasheff, and I want to tell you about Heretic Evil Twin. You might be familiar with my homebrew recipe, which uses massive late hopping to create a balance between the malty sweet and the hoppy bitter, along with an outrageous malt and hop character. I wanted a beer with the same bold hop and malt character, so we played around with the homebrew recipe until we were able to make a great commercial version too. We've created a beer rich in malt character, full of caramel, toast, biscuit, and an ever so subtle roast note. On top of that, we piled in an insane amount of Citra and Columbus hops at the end of the boil, as well as in dry hopping. This damn-the-cost approach to hopping gives Heretic's Evil Twin a great blast of citrus and tropical fruit that can't be matched by any other hop. The result is a bold, malty, hoppy, but easy-drinking beer. This is our top seller, our flagship beer, and I couldn't be prouder of it. Cheers.
To find Heretic beers near you, click on Find Some at hereticbrewing.com.
Williams Brewing is your online resource for prompt delivery of quality home brewing supplies. Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and the freshest ingredients, backed by the best customer service in the business. Do you like to mash using efficient fly sparging, but would like an easy way to heat your strike and sparge water? Enter the new Brewer's Edge electric mash water heater, a plug-in, anywhere, precisely controlled heater for strike and sparge water. Ditch the fumes and second burner and make mashing easy. Go to williamsbrewing.com today and browse their vast selection. That's williamsbrewing.com. Orders placed by 4 p.m. Pacific Time weekdays ship the same day. Brewing is easy the Williams way.
That's it. I've had it. I am never putting hops in my beer again.
What? Why?
It's just too ridiculous. Insane prices, stupid contracts, high shipping costs, crappy selection.
Dude, you need Nico Brew.
Nico Brew will rock your f***ing face right the f*** off your f***ing skull. $5 shipping to all 50 states, plus fantastic international rates get you low prices on Nico Brew's great selection of hops and more. Whether you're a home brewer, a pro brewer, or a homebrew shop owner, Nico Brew can get you the hops you need in increments big and small, single orders, spot buys, or full contracts. And there's only one place to join the uber special secret elite bare bones club where you'll get the best deals anywhere.
Holy f***ing shit.
NicoBrew.com. NIKOBREW. Nico Brew, your bare bones buddy in the brewing business.
Grog tags aren't just for labeling your home brews to hand out to your friends. They're the perfect way to round out your personal brewing marketing. Bringing your latest beer to a funeral? Craft a metal sign to go with it. Heading out to little Liam's bar mitzvah? Grog Tag custom bottle caps are awesome. Couldn't get out of jury duty this year? Grog Tag the hell out of the deliberation room with reusable labels. Grog Tag has an awesome array of products just waiting to be customized by you. Metal signs, coasters, tasting mats, bottle caps, tap handles. It's all there waiting for your designs at Grog Tag. Liven up your next party with the widest selection of custom products ever offered by a sponsor of the Brewing Network. Grog Tag. At least your beer will look good.
Back to the two guys that know how to turn beer into beer. This is Brew Strong.
Is that your drum solo?
It was supposed to be, yes.
That was one quick drum solo.
Yeah, well, I missed the second beat there.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I'll tell you what. Our friends at the American Homebrewers Association, special offer for you. I don't know if this really applies, but if you join or renew your AHA membership in June and receive
free drum solo,
you'll get a free drum solo. You get 6 ounces of Mosaic hops from Brewer Supply Group free with your membership. Just visit homebrewersassociation.org and use the code BNAHA when you join or renew. Your offer ends June 30th while supplies last. Visit homebrewersassociation.org and use code BNAHA. So there you go. I think you should try it anyways. And you should be a member of the AHA. God damn it. If you're not a member of the AHA, you're pissing me off. Because we need a membership.
It's a great organization.
Yeah, you get a lot of great stuff from it, but we need somebody that's kind of looking out for the homebrewers.
And they've done that. They've got a history doing that. It's not something they promise to do. They do it.
Yep. And that
they're working every day
important.
on us for that.
So you need to support a group that's going to keep homebrewing legal, help with, making sure that the laws are copacetic with what you want to do. Competitions, a lot of information, a lot of research. Good organization, good people. So get to homebrewersassociation.org and sign up today if you have not already. All right. Next question, pornographic Stephen.
All right, this one's a very long one and not really a bunch of questions. Pretty much,
we've heard that before.
Pretty much, he just wants John to tell his brewing partner to buy other things, and they want to brew with you. This guy keeps telling his brew partner to get a carbon filter, oxygen system, temp control, outside burner, other things recommended from the Brewing Network.
Read the title of the email.
The title of the email in all caps is "I Need John Palmer." He says that the beer's fairly good. They get good final gravities, low final gravities, but it tastes like yeast cells. Doesn't mind chill haze, but at least get a carbon filter. That's up calcium chloride. Use gelatin or another fining. He's pretty much just complaining that his buddy won't spend money on things that he thinks
would improve.
He should have that. Yeah, would improve beer. This guy wants to hang out with you, John.
He needs a new brewing buddy.
They're only in Long Beach. So
yeah, he wants you to be his brewing buddy, essentially, is what it boils down to. He really doesn't give a crap about this other guy. He wants you to become his brewing buddy.
Dump that other guy.
Right, so you can dump him. No. I was at More Beer one day, and I was picking something up or something like that, and there was some guy there, and I was picking up some Whirlflock, and he's like, well, what are those? I'm like, it's Whirlflock. I said, works great. I said, you add it to the end of the boil, you get this, helps with your hot break, all this. And he's like, how much is it or something like that? And he was like, oh, no, I can't do that. I'm like, well, why? He goes, I'm not throwing 20 cents or 10 cents, whatever it was, into a batch. That's not needed.
Wow.
It's like, well, it's kind of needed. I mean, you're probably using like Irish moss or something like that. And it's like, no. I don't have money to waste on these ingredients. I'm like, okay, it'll make your beer better. Hell no. I'm not paying 10 cents to make my beer better.
Well.
So the question is, should he buy things? Yes, I'd say.
Well, yeah.
Should he buy things you need?
So maybe he's a similar kind of guy.
Yeah. There are recommended products and recommended practices to improve your beer.
For a reason.
Yeah.
It's not like, we would recommend something that, we'll tell you what the value of something is and why you would want it or not.
Right.
I mean, I'll tell you why you want an AHA membership. I'll tell you why, you want to go to the Blickman Engineering side. I'll tell you why, if you're looking for a water measurement, you go to Lamont. I'll tell you why.
That's right.
I don't want you wasting money, but some of these people go to the extreme. Couldn't afford 10 cents a batch.
Yeah, their economics are messed up.
All right, I understand.
You guys never do like brewing demonstrations or anything, do you?
We actually don't know how to brew, so
at all. Oh,
that'd
okay.
be really
you
difficult.
just talk about it and
just talk about it.
Oh, well.
We have a no dirty hands policy.
Get other people to do it for you.
That's right.
You
We
just tell
have
them how to do it.
a no work clause in our brewing network
Contracts.
contract. Yes.
Nice.
We refuse to do any actual labor, put any effort out whatsoever.
Straight from a manager.
That's what collaborators are for.
Right.
That's right. You borrow their stuff. Ride their star.
Yeah, anytime somebody wants me to go and brew somewhere or do something, they're like, "Oh, we'll have a homebrew day with you," and I'm like, "All right," and because I've given up actually trying to homebrew when other people are around. I end up talking, I end up drinking, and I cannot make anything turn out right.
We're on the same page there.
Yeah, it's a forget.
No, they don't believe you.
I just I'll brew by myself. That's it.
Me too.
And it just
easily distracted.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll be entertaining. I'll be pouring beers or
right. Little piece of yarn comes by, I chase after it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. Totally distracted. No, I never make a beer just for the hell of it. I'm making it for a purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be pouring it for
it's
people
going to turn out. It's got to be
impress.
perfect.
I'm trying to see if I'm changing my process or the recipe. I can't let
you can't
any
be
variability
distracted.
in. No.
Yeah, exactly. So it just doesn't work, and that's why John will not show up and brew with you. I am sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
There's a whole different price sheet for that.
Next question.
All right. Hey, fellas, this year has been my first attempt at competitions. I've had some success with my lagers, first and second places with high score of 44. Ooh. However, the biggest thing I consistently get marked down is flavor.
Flavor.
What are some possible factors I can start tweaking to improve my competition scores? I know that's a pretty broad question, but that's sure to invoke exasperated gasps. But just a point in the right direction or mindset would be very appreciated.
Well, see, it's hard to point in the right direction when you don't have the map of where you've been, because we don't know where you've been. It's hard to point you in the right direction. I would say a couple of common causes with poor flavor scores are like really stupid recipes that you've gotten, like sometimes off the internet, sometimes from questionable homebrew shops,
or something you've made up yourself, thinking that you're a pretty good recipe guy.
Right. So,
and he did say lagers too.
Not to collect, which tend to be real simple.
Yeah.
Not to collect another 25 cents for selling another book, but brewing classic styles. If you start with those and work from there, that should get you pretty damn close. They're not going to complain about a flavor of one of those recipes. They're not going to say, "Oh, it's
If you make the beer well,
right? If you make the beer well, that'll get you close. Yeah. You should. If you're making now, maybe this guy's brewing those recipes. If he is, then I'd start looking at his brewing process. I'd start looking at fermentation. I'd start looking at packaging. I'd start looking at source ingredients, things like that.
Clarity, things that would hide the flavors in the beer, maybe.
Right, right. If he's getting comments on flavor, then and the other thing would be fermentation.
Maybe he's got the yeast on a stir plate,
That could be.
It could be old ingredients. It could be a variety of things. It could be staling.
Right. And probably the most common thing is poor fermentation practices or contamination. And so, that tends to be a real issue for a lot of people. And, don't forget the fermentation is fully at least 80% of the flavor in a beer. So you have to master that. That's where a lot of your flavor comes from.
Hop aroma and flavor, though, could be an oxidation problem. If you're trying to make IPAs and not getting the hop expression you were looking for, that maybe the recipe describes, it could be an oxidation problem.
Right.
And the malts will drop out as well. So
yeah. But it's so general And then, maybe he's just pitching an actual adequate amount of yeast for his lagers or something. And that's why his lagers are okay. I don't know. It's an odd question. But like I said, we try and answer them. No matter,
right. Keep moving forward.
Somebody's going to send in a question. It's just going to be A. We're going to all right.
That's what you might mean by that.
Yeah, right. We will guess.
Yes, we'll make up a question for you.
Right. Okay. Next question.
Hey guys, I was wondering what you think about how to treat green beer, not the color, the flavor of a young beer. When I make light-colored hoppy beers, I think of a beer that should be drank fresh. But after about a week or two in primary, maybe another week in secondary with dry hops, sometimes it still has that green beer flavor. Usually I just keg it, and it seems to taste fine after about a week of carbonating. But is this the right thing to do? Should I keep it on the yeast keek until it tastes as intended, or should I keg it? What's going on that causes this green beer flavor? If it helps, my process is batch sparge, oxygenate with pure oxygen, pitch the appropriate amount of yeast via starter of slurry, and I have a fermentation temp controller.
All right. Steve, I want to ask you one thing. When it's your birthday and they bring out that thing with the candles in it and they put it in front of you, what's that called?
It's a cake.
Okay. Not a keek?
A keek. It's a keek.
You said a yeast keek.
A yeast keek.
Right.
I don't know.
All right, just checking.
It's the Canadian coming out of me. I'm not Canadian at all. Yeast geek. I think you bring up the cats.
All right. When I hear the term green beer, it always is related to acetaldehyde.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. John, tasty?
Well, I've noticed with I make a lot of hoppy beers, and the first 3 or 4 days they do taste a little too fresh, maybe. I don't know,
too grassy. You mean?
Yeah, maybe. They're already cleared, so it's not like there's a lot in suspension. But this, they certainly taste better in a week or two, and not sure what that's all about. That's just to me, that's more like just conditioning of the beer.
Well, there is a lot of yeast still. Even when a beer seems to have cleared up, there's still a lot of yeast. There can be a lot of protein tannin complex, and those things can have harsh flavors to them.
Yeah, or maybe muddling flavors as well.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I tend to prefer a clearer beer, and sometimes, giving it a couple of weeks in the keg will allow that to settle out.
Yeah. If it's hop polyphenol related, giving time for those to settle out can take away some of those grassy. Some people describe them as juicy flavors, but I think it's mostly grassy chlorophenol or chlorophyll type.
Yeah, the water soluble portion of the hops is stuck in there, I think.
Yeah.
You can filter if you want to get there quicker. I found that when I was filtering all the time, the beer would taste 4 weeks old after I filtered it. Would just be like ready to go. There'd be no young character at all.
Mm-hmm.
That's just another step in the process that's why I stopped doing it. It's causing a few problems I didn't want to have, so I went strictly to findings.
Well, what should this guy be doing then?
Well, if he wants his beer sooner, he's just going to have to make it sooner.
Yeah. Brew more early.
Yes.
Is our answer for that one, I think.
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah. I guess also if it is a acetaldehyde conditioning kind of problem, raising the temperature after the first 3-4 days of fermentation to kind of do a diacetyl rest may help with his maturation and remove some more of those green beer flavors if that's the source of them.
Yeah, and really...
That's a good point. Yeah, do a raise at the end of the ferment.
Yeah, at the end of the ferment for the acetaldehyde, because that tends to be... If your ferment is rocketing along, you tend to get more acetaldehyde at the end.
Yeah.
And you really got to watch out for that. If you're... So you really kind of want to not go balls out at the very beginning. You want to, a slower with a climb towards the end,
especially the first half of the ferment.
And then what I always did was even after I saw fermentation appeared to be complete, it had stopped. I always gave it an extra day or two in the fermenter.
Right.
Yep.
And
It's not being on the yeast cake. It's being warm with the yeast in suspension that's cleaning it up.
Yeah.
Well, and as the yeast is settling, it's cleaning up that acetaldehyde. If you take it at that point immediately to the cold, the yeast does not clean up the acetaldehyde.
No,
or it could take a lot longer, even if there is any yeast still active.
Yeah.
But if you leave it warm for that 1 or 2 days, it goes very quickly, and you get a cleaner beer.
I've done it where I'll keg the beer when it reaches terminal, and then I just let it sit warm. I won't put it in the cold space and crash it. I'll leave it warm for a few days, just because I know there's yeast in suspension,
right?
And it's basically giving it a diacetyl rest.
Right. There you go. All right, let's take one more break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up with your questions right after this.
Are you looking for a simple brewing system that's great for all grain brewing, but everything on the market seems to be full of compromises? Blickman Engineering has the answer. The Blickman Brew Easy All Grain Brewing System. The Brew Easy is a complete system with easy upgrades and a beautiful compact design, perfect for any size brewing location. At its core, the Brew Easy is built on 2 gorgeous Blickman Boilermaker brew kettles, a high-temperature March pump, and either a top-tier gas burner or the new Boil Coil electric heater. The Brew Easy adapter lid allows the pots to stack on top of each other, forming an efficient, strong, and compact brewing setup that comes in 5, 10, and 20-gallon batch sizes. Upgrade your Brew Easy system with full automated control by adding a Blickman Tower of Power temp controller, and make moving around easy with the Blickman Kettle Cart. The Brew Easy is modular. If you already own a Boilermaker kettle, you can build your Brew Easy by purchasing just the modules you need. The new Brew Easy all-grain brewing system. See it today at BlickmanEngineering.com and brew with Blickman quality on your new Brew Easy.
Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making. When I order a beer, I want my server to know more about it than I do. I want someone who enjoys good beer and loves helping others enjoy it too. I want someone who knows how to pour a perfect pint for every beer style. I want a Cicerone.
The Cicerone Certification Program is creating the type of people who help you enjoy great beer. Home brewers and craft beer lovers know beer is more flavorful and complex than ever, and it takes some serious knowledge to store and serve beer right. Cicerones know beer. There are 3 levels in the Cicerone program: Certified Beer Server, Certified Cicerone, and Master Cicerone. Cicerones are truly the sommeliers of beer. The best beer locations have a Certified Cicerone on staff. Relaxed and unpretentious. Cicerones are tested on storing and serving beer, beer styles, flavor and tasting, the brewing process and ingredients, and pairing food with beer. Learn more about your next beer guide at cicerone.org. Certified Cicerone, because it takes top talent to present a perfect pint.
Ken Grossman of Sierra Nevada Brewing Company says making great beer is hard. Making the same great beer every day is harder. Brewers Publications announces its latest release for breweries of any type and size. Quality Management, an essential guide for brewers by Mary Pelletieri. Proper quality management for small, regional, and national breweries is critical. Whether you are an established business or brand new, learn the best ways to create and manage a quality system in your brewery. This book will guide you in developing a comprehensive program that will grow with your brewery, help ensure quality processes in the brewery, and continue providing great beer for your fans. Quality management for breweries is critical for continued success. This guidebook teaches you to integrate quality management in every level of the operation. It will guide you in developing a comprehensive program to ensure quality processes in your brewery. Quality Management, an essential guide for brewers, now available from Brewers Publications. Learn more at brewerspublications.com.
trying to brew has never been so disgusting. This is Brew Strong.
All right, we're back. It's me, Palmer, and Tastacles. We got the porno Steven. We got the Vivo.
Her mic's broken. That's why she hasn't said much. And she's kind of half sleeping and maybe playing solitaire.
But she feels safer behind the glass.
No.
Oh.
Yeah. That's why she's separated from us.
All the dead flies are gone from the glass.
Somebody cleaned them.
No, there's still one there.
There's new ones every minute.
Yes. That's what she killed. All right. Questions from the chat.
All right. Hey, Brew Strong guys. I emailed about using well water. Thanks for the response. We'll be using the test kit if we get off the ground. Follow-up, though. Ran into a potential issue with nitrates and agricultural runoff in well water. What issues can you run into with this water, and what should I be looking out for as far as concentrations go?
It's in the water book.
Read the water book. All right, next question.
Yeah, I don't remember what the numbers are.
Yeah.
But yeah, with nitrates, well, you're going to run into higher or poorer flavor stability.
Mm-hmm.
High nitrates can also affect yeast health and affect the fermentation.
Yeah, that's a bad. That can be a real significant problem. Yeah.
Yeah. But fortunately, I did cover that in the water book, or I should say, we covered it in the water book. I just don't remember the numbers off the top of my head.
And is there a treatment for that?
Carbon filtration.
Oh, it'll take care of most of that, or all of it, or
most of it. Well, I mean, darn. Now I'm remembering there was something about nitrates that it wasn't fully covered by carbon. Maybe you needed UV in front of it too, as well, to help break them up and allow the carbon to better absorb them.
Yeah, because there's various formats of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
but that's doable. So it's not like he's considering like a production environment or something like that.
Yeah, it's not like he's dead in the water.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, there are treatment options. Yeah,
dead in the water. You see what I said there?
Yeah, that was funny.
The pun.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
All right. Next question.
When you are doing a yeast starter, I've heard you say chill and decant. Why would you not try to pitch the yeast while it's at high Krausen?
Well, all right. So usually you're having to make such a big starter that as a percentage of the beer that you're brewing, it ends up being like a large percentage of the beer, and it can dilute the flavor, lower the alcohol level. Yeah,
the better flavors,
and it does not taste very good. So you that's why a stirred starter, I don't know. So usually I will chill it down, harvest the yeast, and then the day of brewing. And this way I know that I successfully grew up the yeast. I do it like the week approaching brewing. And then the day of brewing, I will add that to some starter wort, a smaller amount of starter wort, and just get it active again, and it'll be foaming up and ready to rock and roll. And that I will throw the whole thing into the beer.
Yeah.
I think that's a better approach. It's a little more work, but I think the results you get are spectacular that way.
The ambient on my water is higher, so I usually don't pitch till the next day.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll do essentially what you're doing, but I'll take some wort out of the actual ferment,
right,
and add that to it, and pitch the whole thing the next day.
There you go.
Yep.
All right.
This question. I lose 3 gallons to evaporation in a 90-minute boil. Is that a lot? Could it be my pot, my burner? No other information. Not sure what.
If you're using
5 gallons,
if you're using a 5 gallon, and it's 3, you kind of got a problem.
3-gallon batch, and it was 0.
Let's assume he's doing
3,000-gallon batch.
Must be 10. It's assuming he's
it could be.
No, when I do 10-gallon batch and I'm making 12 gallons of wort because I lose a lot, or I want to lose a lot at various points. My pre-boil is like 15 gallons, so that's for me 3 gallons I lose.
Yeah. A 15% evaporation rate is not unheard of. It's pretty common.
Yeah.
Well, they were saying anything over like 8 or something like that is considered excessive thermal load.
Thermal loading, huh?
Well, yeah, on a commercial scale, yeah.
Right. Commercially they'll do like 3-4%.
Yes, right.
I would. So it may be that he's got a nice broad surface area on his pot, and then he's getting a lot of wind in a very dry environment, and so that's why he's getting so much evaporation.
At a higher altitude, yeah.
What I would suggest is turn the burner down a little bit and get a little less evaporation, see how that works out for him. Because you don't want too much evaporation either. You don't want too much. That might be it depends on what the gravities are. If his gravities are overshooting, definitely just turn the heat down and go to a lesser boil and see how that works out for you. I would give that a shot. That's well worth trying.
Sound advice.
All right. One more.
I just tried my first New England style IPA and really enjoyed it. Is there a way other than mashing high or adding too much crystal malt to get the mouthfeel that those beers can have without being so cloudy? I've heard the breweries that brew these styles use up to 20% styles or 20% oats.
Well, you could use 20% oats. That's not going to make them cloudy. If you're getting full conversion of your starches.
Right.
The oats will add.
It's the protein that they add is why they're adding them. They're trying to get
protein haze, maybe.
Yeah, they're trying to get protein in the wort, so when they do the dry hop, those polyphenols will bind to those proteins. What was this question again?
Well, he was talking about mouthfeel.
New England style IPA.
Yeah, mouthfeel has a lot to do with so many other things, and mouthfeel is not necessarily related to finishing gravity or even necessarily ingredients. It has to do more with better fermentation and a lot of those other things.
Yeah.
I mean, you can cheat it other ways, but mouthfeel isn't necessarily, related to that.
It's protein levels, more protein levels than residual sugar or dextrins.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it depends on the length of the proteins, the type of the proteins.
Yeah.
Because there can be a lot of proteins, but not really contribute to that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, oats will definitely improve the mouthfeel, or definitely increase the body.
It's kind of
the creaminess,
a silkiness. Yeah,
yeah. Maybe. I'm not real sure what character of the New England IPA. Here on the West Coast, we don't get many New England IPAs.
When I was out there, I tasted a whole bunch of them, and I didn't really get increased mouthfeel. That wasn't what I would say was
they seem
the
to
real
be,
indicator.
Mostly
mouthfeel was all over the place.
Mouthfeel was,
some of them were good, some of them were bad.
Yeah, I don't say they were particularly more mouthfeel than any other beer.
Some of them were chunky. Chunks of yeast.
That's another problem.
Oh, so Beaver just texted me and said that guy, it was a 5-gallon batch.
Oh, yeah.
He's using 3.
Yeah,
he's losing 3.
That's way too much.
Whoa. Yeah,
too much. Turn the heat down.
Turn the heat down, bro.
Way down.
Yeah.
I would add water. And I've done this.
Uh-huh.
If I want to get a target volume, I got my little yardstick. I can tell.
Right.
I can keep my whole
you can
boil
always add water
at
back,
the target volume the whole time. If I just went every 5 minutes, now a little bit more water.
Yeah, just trickle it in.
Sure.
Yeah. There you go.
Sweet.
All right. Another fine show. It was a show, I'm sure.
Yes. Made better by having Tasty there.
Oh, thank you.
And by Adam and Eve. You jumped the gun there, son.
Sorry.
Get yourself to adamandeve.com. Use the offer code Jamil, Jamil, and you're going to get yourself free shipping. You're going to get a free gift for your significant other, a free gift for you, a free gift for both of you, and 6 free adult DVDs, including the Clit Bumper. and all those goodies. Just use the offer code Jamil, Jamil, at adamandeve.com and support another fine sponsor of ours today. Right, mate?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, all right. Speaking about Dr. Homebrew. Speaking about adult videos.
What?
JP.
Are you and JP doing a porno together?
Maybe.
Yes.
I don't know. We've been speaking about a collaboration.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, if you like this show, listen to the rest of the Brewing Network. Dr. Homebrew and the others, they're all there, all free for you to download, and lots of good stuff out there. Till then, brew strong, everyone.
Brew strong.